Hello, and welcome to another episode of Playhouse Live. I'm here with John.
Hello.
Hello. John, how are you doing this fine end of September time? I don't know what to call
honestly,
it. It's not Halloween yet.
It's not Halloween yet. Honestly, what's nice, it's finally cooling down here in the state of Texas, so it's not sweltering hot. Video games are getting closer to being released when it comes to the next gen, and it's still 2020, so everything is just insane.
Right.
Good times.
As of this time next week, we will be in October officially, which means it's Q4.
Yes.
The Christmas months. So everything gets colder. I am already like hunkering down. I think I asked you this before. In America, hot water bottles, are they a thing or no?
They semi.
Okay.
I've seen them. When I used to work for a pharmacy, I did sell them, but that's a nothing that really happens now. It's not something people jump to. Like for warmth, if that's what we're talking about, usually it's now electric or weighted blankets.
Right now, I have a hot water bottle, which I love because it's like wrapped in this like fur material, and I like hug it. And I'm also in a blanket, so I'm like hunkered down for the winter. It's already getting cold here.
Okay, all right. So I had to look this up right now. In our area, it is 89 degrees Celsius. No, Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit. Sorry. And I have no idea what that is in Celsius. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But it's. I just wanted to say that because I love that we're across the sea from each other, and like it's still fairly warm to us. Like it's not as bad because we're used to being in like the 110, 115 range. So yeah, it'll cool down officially for us probably the second week in November when we're in the probably hunker down point that you're in right now.
Tim's called my hot water bottle a fuzzy bladder, and I'm uncomfortable.
Well, look, on my end, I will say I had to look over and see it. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. The only hot water bottle I'm used to is like, does it have the pink thing? Like if you pull it out of the sleeve of the fuzziness, is it just a normal hot water bottle?
Yeah, it's just the rubber thing.
Okay, yeah. Ours are pink, or at least the ones I sold were pink.
Well, like most of them are red. This one's white and cozy and nice.
Yeah, I will fully admit I've never seen one in like a fuzzy blanket fur baby thingy.
Perfect for the winter. It's like in anime and in Japan, it's like anime and Japan are the same thing in my head. It's like everyone looks like that, but like they have the like the low down tables, and in the winter they'll put like that heater under it and put the blanket around it. To me, hot water bottles are the European version of that, and it's just so cozy. John, I said to you last week that this would be a light week in news, or at least I thought it might be.
And I blame you for all of this.
And every week we prepare a list of show notes to just like help us remember what we're going to talk about and like sources and articles and stuff. Our first story is like 2.5 pages long. Total, our show notes are like 4.5 pages. So
to give context, ours are usually like they're getting bigger because we're understanding what we want in the show notes. Yeah. But what'd you say about page and a half?
The first one was like half a page. The second one was like a page
we were
and a half
going to talk
total.
about this.
Now it's like 4 pages because there's just so much to cover.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But it's mostly got to be one story, the biggest story dominating the gaming landscape at the minute, and rightly so because it's just a bombshell, and that is
Amazon
Xbox.
has actually it was Amazon. Amazon created it's streaming game service, guys. The biggest news. Oh wait, we have something else.
In normal weeks, that would be probably number 1 or number 2 in the list. Right now, it's third. It gets the bronze medal because this week Xbox has purchased, or in the process of purchasing, Zenimax Media and its game publisher Bethesda. So it's worked for $7.5 billion with a B, John. In cash. They can just throw it out there.
That's the part that blows my mind. That it's just straight cash. You're like, which I know it's not like that, but I have this like this idea of like Phil Spencer driving with the truck, and then there's like 15 semis behind him, and just they drop this load of cash onto Zenimax and all that stuff. I think that would be great. I want to see someone like do something like that with Phil Spencer, just like standing on top of the mound where the Joker was in The Dark Knight, and this is the Zenimax cash. I think that'd be great.
I know this isn't how acquisitions like this work, but in your analogy where Phil's driving the truck, I think he gets a call from like the Microsoft CEO like midway down the road, and they were initially on their way to like drop the money off to TikTok, and they're like, nah, it's done. Nah, take a detour. We'll head to Bethesda, and then we'll figure it out. You know?
Crap. Somehow Walmart got TikTok. Wait, what? Just go Zenimax. They're right down the road. Just go right past TikTok into Zenimax territory, and we're good.
Yeah. This is not only one of the biggest gaming acquisitions in the past decade, 20 years, whatever you want to say. It's also just the biggest, like one of the biggest entertainment tech media acquisitions in total. This is 3 times what they paid for Minecraft. Minecraft was 2.5 billion. This is 7.5 billion. I'm going to ask you, do you think it's worth the money?
Yeah, actually, I think it does. I actually think it is. I've been watching Twitter and seeing what people are saying, and I mean, as someone who's really I do love Xbox. I like the console. I like the platform. I will fully admit it. Xbox doesn't have the right games. They've got good games. I love Forza, but they don't have the right ones, and I think this is going to really put them in a spot to have Bethesda, even though we know that they've been kind of iffy the past couple years, they still have a good pedigree. And I think they're going to have those games that they can go, even if it's like Xbox exclusive, timed exclusive for a couple months, they can use Bethesda to kind of be the first line of here's some of the Xbox, and I don't know, are they actually like Xbox Studio game? Are they going to have that moniker in front of them?
So like under the Xbox Game Studios umbrella, I believe, yes, they'll be in that image with all the studios. But it's important to note that Bethesda Game Studios and Bethesda Softworks are 2 different entities. Bethesda Softworks is like the publisher umbrella for all the Bethesda studios. And as far as I know, they've been talking about keeping that going and still putting all these games under the Bethesda umbrella. Whether or not we'll see like Xbox Game Studios on the boxes, I don't know.
Yeah.
But they seem to be working semi-autonomously from the other Xbox studios, I guess.
See, and I look at it because you got to look at it from the future, because I've seen a lot of people like, well, especially at Sony, on Sony side and PlayStation side, they're like, well, they took all these small companies, these small studios like Santa Monica and all that stuff, and they built them up, and they became these juggernauts that we know as SIE. And while, yes, I agree with that, but I think we're still in that process of Xbox's building to that. So what's better than grabbing something that is established and knows what they're doing most of the time, and you let them go first, and then on the back end, you've got the coalition still building, still being put together, because we don't know what the coalition is actually doing, which is literally from the ground up on Xbox's side.
Yeah, and I think they expressed that sentiment as well. In the CNET article, they had an interview with, I'm going to butcher this freaking name of
better you than me.
Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. He said, you can't wake up one day and say, let me build a game studio. The idea of having content is so we can reach larger communities. That's why Microsoft will consider buying even more video game companies in the future, and why it continues to invest in the Xbox Games Pass subscription service, which I think is the centerpiece of all of this, right?
Yes.
You talked about them trying to build up a portfolio like SIE, like Nintendo has with its first party. Xbox has always been lacking in that regard. But I think there's like a more interesting story here. Immediately after this happened in our Discord, Rose put in a hot take saying that she thinks that potentially down the line, Xbox will not have consoles anymore. They will just be Games Pass. I don't think that's too hot a take. I think that's exactly where they're going. I think everything for the past few years has been Games Pass, Games Pass, Games Pass, and building up content for that. I think that Bethesda works wonders in that way, and that you're not buying a single studio, you're buying this plethora of studios who you know can release games like clockwork, who you know is like, you're going to have this consistency when it comes to first party blockbuster AAA titles for Game Pass.
Well, And what is Microsoft? I mean, we know Microsoft is Word and they do software, but they have the Surface and they have actual hardware that they do that people buy. So it does kind of make sense, especially like you said, the Game Pass. I said it on our first episode. I'm not 100%. Well, actually, I know I'm never going to buy a first party disc ever again. There is no need for me to, because I'm in the Game Pass ecosystem. My disc games that I'm going to be playing on my Series X is going to be stuff from like Ubisoft and those third party companies, because I don't see a point. If you're going to give it to me, I'm paying for it. But if you're going to give it to me, there's no point for me to have the disc.
Mm-hmm. And it's worth noting as well, a bunch of like cool statistics coming out of this. Xbox Games Pass has reached over 15 million subscribers, and that was before this was announced. I imagine that bumped up the numbers a little bit and will continue to as games release. Again, Satya Nadella, the CEO, said this metaphorically and literally doubles our content output in terms of first-party stuff, which is huge.
Yes.
And then, yeah, Bethesda future games will be in Xbox Games Pass the same day that they launch on Xbox and PC from now
That's
on, like
amazing.
all first-party studios, yeah.
I mean, Skyrim, or not Skyrim, but Elder Scrolls 6, Starfield. I kept on calling it Starbound. Starfield. And all the other things that Bethesda's doing, now they just have the backing of Microsoft. Here's the money pot that we found out that Microsoft has a lot more money than probably any of us knew. There you go, Bethesda. Now go nuts.
So let's just have a look over very quickly where we stand in terms of Xbox Game Studios, what we had before and what we have now. Quick run through. Obviously, you have 343 with Halo, World's Edge, the Age of Empires people, Coalition working on Gears, Gears Tactics still coming out, I think is their latest project. Compulsion Games, created We Happy Few, don't know what they're working on right now. Double Fine, Psychonauts 2, Xbox Game Studios Publishing, which I think is just, again, like Bethesda Softworks, just like an umbrella for all the publishing. The Initiative, which is their studio that is rumored to be quadruple A something or other. But we'll see what that is in a few years down the line. I'd say NXL recently released Wasteland 3, Mojang with Minecraft, Ninja Theory with Hellblade 2, Obsidian, which is an important one with The Outer Worlds and Avowed, among others. Playground Games, who's working on Fable, has worked on Forza Horizon in the past. Rare with Everwild, Turn 10 with Forza Motorsport, and Undead Labs with State of Decay. Nearly got through that one. That was the studios before. That's the 15 studios we had. We're bumping that up to 23 now with Bethesda Game Studios, working on Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. id Software recently released Doom Eternal. That's coming to Xbox Games Pass on 1st of October, they announced. Zenimax still working on Elder Scrolls Online. As far as I know, they said stuff with that is going to continue as normal. They're going to keep supporting that.
Okay.
Arcane, who's working on Deathloop, which is an interesting one we'll get to in a bit. Machine Games released Wolfenstein 2. Imagine they're working on more Wolfenstein games.
Probably.
Tango Gameworks, who made Evil Within and are now working on Ghostwire Tokyo, another interesting one that we'll get to. Alpha Dog, who make mobile games. And Roundhouse Studios, which is a new studio founded in 2019. That is made up of a bunch of people who used to work on RPGs, FPS games. So there's probably something big coming out of that. It's not a studio to sleep on, just because it's new.
Good Lord.
There's a lot there. There's a lot. People were asking in this makeup of studios, would we still consider 343 to be the top dog, or would we now place Bethesda Game Studios or one of their other counterparts in there as like the number one Xbox studio?
Okay, I'll play this game. You want to bet? Are we doing this? This feels like a Finn bet.
Well, how do you measure this bet? How do you bet? This is just
we asked the people.
Okay, we can put a poll.
Yeah, we'll do a poll. We'll do that way. I actually still say it's 343 only because internal.
Yeah.
Bethesda, new kid on the block. They've done some really cool things. We know what they're capable of, but we don't know how well they could integrate and what's all going to happen because they're now an Xbox Studios
studio
underneath an umbrella.
Yeah.
Xbox Studios studio. Yeah. It's like, what? But yeah, I still say 343 right now just because it's internal. It's been there. It's kind of like your veterans coming, like your veteran's going to teach the rookie, quote unquote, even though Bethesda's not a rookie, how to play ball. That sounds really weird now that I said that out loud. Oh my God.
I imagine like the Xbox Game Studios is like a locker room, and the Bethesda kids have just walked in and they're like the dorky kids with the glasses, and like Master Chief's just standing there like, you gotta take your lumps. No, it's
I mean, if in that terminology and that thought, I mean, I guess Bethesda's a veteran. We know that, but that's still weird. Now that like I'm really letting this one set in, like this is crazy.
If anything, it is the opposite. Because like Bethesda have been around longer than Xbox has.
So you're pulling in the veteran to help the new kid on the block,
right?
The still growing team. Yeah, I mean, that would make a lot of sense, actually. That way you've got, I mean, Todd Howard and everything that Bethesda brings, the years of experience that Bethesda brings, and being able to like trickle it in through all of Xbox Game Studios. That, I mean, pretty good deal, actually, now that when you think about it.
Yeah. It's funny to see how far the Xbox and Bethesda ties do go back. I actually didn't know this, but Bethesda's first ever console release was Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind on the Xbox. And there was this Xbox podcast talk that Major Nelson hosts, and he had Phil Spencer, Pete Hines, and Todd Howard on there. And they had like there was no big like bombs in terms of more news there, but there was a lot of talk about like the relationship with Xbox, and apparently one of Todd Howard's favorite little like nifty things about the original Xbox is if you got a particularly long loading screen when you were playing Morrowind, like a really long one, that was because the memory overloaded and you could reboot the Xbox without the player knowing. So that's the Xbox rebooting. Which is
that's
perfect
nice
Bethesda for me. Yeah.
That's great. I love that.
So in terms of like implications, what this means beyond Games Pass, and we'll look back around to Games Pass because there's more I want to say on it, but there are other things that are more pressing. It does mean in the short term that they're going to be Xbox first-party games that are timed exclusive to the PS5 with Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo.
I mean, the contracts are already there. It makes sense. I don't think they'll do it, but I wonder, like, when you pop that into your PlayStation or you boot it up on your PlayStation 5, is it going to splash screen you Xbox Game Studios?
I don't know.
I would love that.
What I'm really interested in is if the box art will have like an Xbox logo on it. And if so, I'm buying that box and like keeping it as, because that'll be like history.
Absolutely. Actually, I think it will, because doesn't both Ori games on the Switch, doesn't it like load up Xbox Game Studios?
That's crazy. Yeah, if
that I think it does.
That would be like a weird moment for everyone.
Oh, that's gonna be great. I love that.
Very weird. Also, in terms of like how close this relationship was supposedly between Sony and Bethesda, apparently they were negotiating timed exclusivity on Starfield as well, just a few months ago.
Okay.
And then I guess either that fell through or the price got way higher.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Just another weird tidbit about Games Pass. They also announced that Funimation, you get like 2 months of Funimation subscription if you have Games Pass. I just thought that was funny because they are also owned by Sony.
Yeah, because that was that split, because it was Funimation and Crunchyroll had this thing going together, and then Sony came in and bought I don't know, did they buy Funimation's itself, or I think they bought its parent company, didn't they?
Yeah, they're the majority shareholder. It's all business.
That's
speak.
Right.
But yeah, just another weird thing.
Guys, Xbox and Microsoft is going to be everywhere.
It also means that Bethesda and Obsidian are now sister studios, which is probably the weirdest thing to me for two reasons. One, Fallout New Vegas 2 could now happen. Two, The Outer Worlds and Avowed are both not parodies, but sort of like
Offshot
shots at Bethesda games. And so like now Avowed and Elder Scrolls 6 are being worked on at the same time and being published by the same corporate overlord. Very weird.
It is 2020 and it can get weirder, but yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. All of this just like dropped seemingly on a random day. Turns out not a random day, it was the day before Xbox pre-orders, and you'll be sure that that bumped up things. We'll talk about pre-orders in a bit as well. That's our next story. Going back to Games Pass, I do think this is such a move. Like, this is $7.5 billion in the cash injected directly into Games Pass.
Yes.
Somewhere around 2017, Xbox realized their strategy wasn't working. They had all these like first party and exclusive deals and trying to match Sony pound for pound in terms of the exclusive department, but it kept not working. Phantom Dust and Scalebound and Fez 2 and all these games got cancelled, and Microsoft like garnered this reputation for being like a bad publisher to work with. And I'll no doubt I'll say here now, I assume those games got cancelled because Microsoft wanted to be too hands-on, and they realized it wasn't working, and so they just like cut their losses because they realized they were never going to match a God of War. They were never going to match a Horizon, no matter how good these games were. And even if they were, they might not get the reception. They might not drive sales of Xboxes.
And didn't Phil Spencer say of all the ones that like have gotten canceled, the one he regrets the most is Platinum with Scalebound?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think he has.
I would have loved that.
Yeah.
God. I love Platinum. Please just leave Platinum alone.
Every now and then, rumors of Scalebound bringing back up, but I don't think we'll see that game ever again.
No, I don't think so.
But yeah, it does, and there's like some good interviews out there you can read on this. But basically, again, the CEO of Microsoft, before he was CEO, Satya Nadella, he was one of the ones who headed up the purchase of Mojang, and he got promoted to CEO shortly after, and he in turn promoted Phil Spencer. There was quite a candid conversation between the two. Satya basically said there might not be a future for Microsoft to be in the gaming space the way things are going. And Phil Spencer sat with that, had a thought, and he said, if we're going to do this, we're going to go all in. And from day one, their whole strategy changed. They had that big E3 press conference when they announced like 5 new studios that they've purchased. Total centric towards Games Pass, building with the future with xCloud, and just like making value. And so going back to Rose's hot take of like, will there be another Xbox generation? Who knows? I think there will be, purely because I think it's integral to the Games Pass strategy. I think getting that service on as many devices as possible is important. I think having the Xbox consoles places them in the same conversation with Sony, allows them to show up at E3s, allows them to feel like a big player. And I think that despite like Xbox not selling as well, that's not their main go-to now. They can make a hell of a lot more money with Games Pass as their main product. If they could put Games Pass on PlayStation, you know they would. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I mean we always hear those rumors floating around of Game Pass coming on to the Switch, which I'm all for. But yeah, you're right. As much as like, and it's this week alone has been so interesting and entertaining to me that you saw both sides of the coin when it comes to hardware, and both companies is PlayStation. You have to buy our system to play this game. Period. No negotiation. This game. Xbox. Hey, here's our games. Play it on whatever you want. PC, I got you. You want to buy one of our systems? Fantastic. You want a phone? Oh, everyone has a phone. You can play our games on your phone now. And it's just, that came into light this week just with everything going on. And both the console generation, the new one coming up on us in a month and a half, which that's scary as well too. But yeah, it's been very entertaining to see Xbox's flip on, they're pushing that the best place to play your games is Xbox Series X. They went consumer friendly with the Series S. And I am not going to lie, Game Pass is probably one of the best, if not the best, value of what you're paying in comparative to what you're getting out of it.
100%. And I think as well, like a lot of the conversation around this is framed towards Xbox's point of view. I think from Bethesda, this deal totally makes sense. I think that if you think about how perception of Bethesda has been like slowly deteriorating, and then like after this, everyone's excited about Bethesda again. Like, could you imagine? Maybe it wouldn't be totally positive, but could you imagine how different the reception would be about Fallout 76 if people knew they were just getting it with Games Pass and didn't have to pay extra for it? I think it would be a totally different game right now. I think it would be huge.
I think so too.
That whenever Bethesda announce or like show off Elder Scrolls 6, people are going to be more hyped about it than they already were because it's with Games Pass. And so that just like totally makes sense for them. I think they were trying to, I don't know if they were in financial trouble or whatever. I doubt they were, but I think they were trying to hedge their bets and like commit to one publisher, one console, whatever you want to call it, for a while now. Because there were those rumors of Sony buying Bethesda a while back, which people thought was nuts at the time. And kind of is nuts when you consider that Sony's total gaming revenue was 8 billion and this cost 7.5 billion. That just doesn't make sense. They wouldn't have had the cash, but there were talks there. They were in discussions and they already had this relationship with the time exclusive stuff. And obviously Xbox were talking with them because it happened, but there was also allusions to Google potentially being one of the offers in there as well. I think Bethesda were just sort of shopping themselves around and trying to figure out where they want to go, where they see gaming in the next few years. They were weighing up probably Stadia and xCloud, seeing what they had to offer each other. And I think this is the smartest possible move for like both of these entities.
I agree. Like, public perception has gone up for Bethesda. Everyone, I don't know, I can't say everyone. A lot of people like Phil Spencer and everything he's doing in the sense of gaming first. It's a win-win. Like, now they don't have to worry about it. I'm with you. I don't think there were any kind of financial trouble, but now they have apparently a lot of cash behind them to be able to do stuff. And hopefully Xbox, Phil Spencer, they're like, all right, go do your stuff. Just make your games. Don't worry about it. Just go and take the Sony approach to it. Hands off. Let your creators do what they need to do to deliver good games.
Yeah, we gave you $7.5 billion. Make a new engine for Elder Scrolls. It's all down shit creek if you don't like produce. So like no pressure. But no, I think even though the deal's not closed yet, I think it closes sometime late next year. Just how business things works. But you're gonna start to see the fruits of this very, very soon. We're already seeing it with Doom Eternal. You're gonna start seeing all these titles, all this backlog as well. We talk about like new games, all the backlog of Bethesda games that there are.
I hope Papa Phil just comes up and goes, "It's all on Game Pass now." And you're like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Even Wayne Gretzky Hockey or whatever that game was for the Nintendo. I think this is huge. I think this is something that we're going to keep talking about in the coming weeks. But yeah, for now, we'll have to see how that shapes up. In the meantime, we're going to stick with Xbox. We're going to talk about pre-orders for the Xbox Series X and S and how those compared to the PlayStation 5 debacle. I wasn't personally planning on pre-ordering one. John, how was your experience?
Insane. I will, let me just start out. It was absolutely insane. Thank you, Xbox, for giving me, hey, it's going to be on this day to this time. So it was Tuesday, 10 o'clock my time. And I'm at work. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I can do this. And where I wanted to actually pre-order was Best Buy because I could get it day one, walk in, grab it, and walk out. I didn't want to deal with GameStop or anything else. And so at 10 o'clock, well, actually, I take that back. About 9:30, I cleared my calendar out. No one talked to me. I'm going to be sitting here on my computer. So I have a screen up. I have Best Buy ready to go. I'm logged in. Everything's perfect. Let me just sit here. 10 o'clock rolls around. I start seeing the tweets coming going, hey, did you get yours? Did you get yours? GameStop's live. Target's live. Walmart's live. Hell, Amazon's live. Best Buy is not. And I'm sitting there just refreshing going, what is happening? Why? I see everyone going, oh, I got it. And I'm like, I can't. I don't have it. What's going on? 10:30 rolls around. Best Buy's still not live. And I'm starting to kind of panic a little bit, to be absolutely honest, because I'm like, I was going to buy this. I was going to go through the all access game, Xbox All Access. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that now. So what do? I go back and try and order it from not Amazon, but Microsoft. I jumped in there, gone. Target gone, Walmart gone, GameStop gone. Somehow Amazon still had one, so I was like, screw it. I'm going to pre-order it from Amazon, and I'll figure it out from there. All the while, just clicking refresh on Best Buy. Just what's going on? What is happening? 11 a.m. shows up. Everyone's still getting their Xboxes. Best Buy's just sitting there twiddling their thumbs. And then comes 11:45-ish. Xbox goes, or not Xbox, but Best Buy goes live. 2.5-ish hours after it was supposed to go live. Or no, an hour and a half after it was supposed to go live. Best Buy's like, here you go. Go nuts, guys. And I was like, okay, cool. I can do this. That's fine. Thank you, Amazon, for not taking my money out of my account right now. I can buy this. So I go through and I jump in. They've got their splash page for all access. And I'm like, I can do this. This is what I want. All access. Yes, let me go do this. And it cycles back through. Oh, that's weird. What? All access. I click it again. And it cycles back, goes through like, all right, let's put it in the cart, and then cycles me back through to the all access page. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me right now. What is happening? All in all, I just ended up getting it from Best Buy, full price. Apparently, what happened was because Best Buy didn't like start their pre-orders at the 8 Eastern time, 10 o'clock Central, and everyone else did. It apparently, when you went through that all access, it rerouted you back to Microsoft's homepage through their Xbox, and you had to apply and for the all access, and then it came back to your retailer of choice, and it finished out the transaction. So that's why I couldn't get it, because they were already sold out. They were done with the all access, which blew my mind. I didn't know that was going to be one of those things, but we're finding out a lot that pre-orders were designed to be limited to this new generation of games. And so it was just a mad scramble, keeping eye on Twitter going between like Wario 64, IGN deals, and just I'm having feeds going, oh, I think they're going to restock in a minute. And here I am refreshing every page I can find. I had Firefox. I had my work Gmail open. I had personal Gmails open. I had everything making sure that I could get an Xbox Series X. And it was interesting, to say the least. I have one, picking up day one out of Best Buy. That's great. I canceled my pre-order from Amazon, but it was almost as frantic as PlayStation's.
Yeah.
A little easier, because at least we knew it was going to happen at a specific time and not like just coughed out at us, but It was still absolutely insane.
Yeah. I'd like, and that's the only thing, like, is the difference between the two is like the warning, at least. That's why people were like mad at Sony primarily, like just dropping it one day. Xbox let you know, and you could argue that like that gives time for scalpers to get ready and stuff.
Yeah.
And it just seems to be yeah.
Speaking of scalpers, whatever the hell GameStop's queue line was, that was stupid.
Yeah. So like the online queue thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there were people, and from yesterday, which I tried to pre-order another PS5, and then the GameStop one, there were people standing in the queue. I was sitting in the queue, and then I would try a different web browser, and then it went right through. I'm like, what? GameStop, what is going on with your back end? Mm-hmm. It was like people were just sitting there, and I was starting to see tweets like it's sold out, and people are screenshotting their screens going, I'm still sitting in the queue. Am I going to get one? Or is it just they decided to stop the pre-orders altogether, and I'm just going to sit here forever until I clear a cache or something? It was manic, to say the least.
Tim in chat brings up a thing. He says, yeah, by the way, weird thing with PS5 pre-orders. Mine and my friend's pre-orders got refunded, but it still says we have the pre-orders from Best Buy. Friend even called him and confirmed that they said he would be getting it.
Okay, I actually know that one, because this is why Best Buy pre-authorizes your account. So you got the money taken out, and then it sits there in some sort in pending on your account and through Best Buy, and then it goes back into your account. And about 4 days before the release, Best Buy will take the money back out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Weird,
that's exactly how it works. Yeah,
at least there's a system.
Yeah, there's a system. Yeah, that's like when I pre-order amiibos or anything like that, the money gets taken out, and in like 5 to 7 business days, it comes back into my account, and then you just have to make sure that the money is there.
Yeah.
I would say a week before, just in case. But yeah, the same thing happened to me. Series X got taken out. It's going to be sitting in a pending until probably next Friday when I get that money back, and then you're good to go. So yeah, you didn't get it refunded. It was just like pre-authorized.
Yeah. It seems to be the narrative going around these things that you like always are seeing on Twitter nowadays, where you could do everything right. You could have 12 refresh pages open and you still don't get it. You might think you have it, and then Amazon notifies you that you might not get it in time. And I think that Sony did a lot of things wrong. One of the things I think they did right is the like email thing with your PSN ID, and then you get like randomly selected if you can pre-order one. Granted, they went up with that way after the other pre-orders went live, so people were confused if it was actually happening or not. But I think that's a fair-ish system. It's definitely frustrating whenever you can't get one, and you see all these things on eBay, like people buying Xboxes for $900, and you're just like, come on, man.
And what I've been noticing too, because and not to I was trying to get the PS5 yesterday too, because GameStop had some going up. Someone in a Twitter thread with Wario64 actually contacted Best Buy's customer service, going, "Hey, are you guys going to get any more pre-orders on that one?" And they said no. Pre-orders are done. You just have to go into the store now to pick it up on day one, which both Xbox and PlayStation are pushing that, like limited pre-orders, but they want you to be able to go into the actual retailer and just pick it up off the shelf and go home. Yeah, that's the feel I'm getting right now from both of them, because even GameStop tweeted out yesterday after all that was done, it was like, all right, no more pre-orders. We will have consoles on day one for you, so all you got to do is just walk into our stores and we'll take care of you. Now, how many consoles that is, I have no idea, but there you go.
I think there is a lot of frustration as well with, because they've been towing the line forever now, both Xbox and PlayStation, that COVID hasn't really affected hardware production that much. It's just been software. And so, like, people are angry. They're like, how would you not see, like, gaming has been selling hotcakes during this pandemic across the board, hardware, software, anything you want to call it. And like, this is a new console generation, and gaming's doing better than ever as a whole. How could you not anticipate this demand?
Yeah.
And I think it's, yes, they should have maybe anticipated more. I think that they do have enough units. I think it's a distribution thing. I think they are finding it hard right now to transport these to all these different locations for launch day. And so, like, you will get your next gen console. It won't be a situation where there's going to be a 6-month drought after launch where you won't get it. It's just going to be, they're trying to like trickle out there so that doesn't happen. And letting the people who can wait. Yeah.
I mean, it seems like if you can't get it day one, it'll be there next week. That's kind of the messaging it seems like both companies are trying to do. Like, instead of, like you said, the 6-month drought when it was extremely hard to find a Wii back in the day, we're just now getting back to a point where you can walk into a store and find Nintendo Switches. I think they're trying to negate that, because I know last week we were talking about Sony's flying shipments over, right? Or is it Xbox?
PlayStation are flying shipments over,
flying, which costs more. So they're trying to get an initial shipment in for the pre-orders, for those probably the little trickles that they have left to walk in on day one. And then next week, another batch are going to come in, and it's just going to keep on going like that, because both companies have been saying, like, don't worry, we're going to take care of you through the end of the year, pretty much is what it sounded like to me. So I actually agree with you. I think we're going to see this weird, interesting trickle effect when it comes to stock.
Yeah. And like, again, it's not a production issue. I think we know, I don't know how many Xboxes are being produced this year. We know that PlayStation's aiming for 11 million by the end of 2021. Okay. I think it might be a little higher, and they always like undercut it just so they can bump it up later and say we've exceeded expectations. But I think it'll be closer to maybe 15 million by the end of the year, like sold or like to retailers or whatever. I really do just think that like shipping things right now is a nightmare. And that's what's slowing everything down. And they're trying to like limit it for launch day and spread it out over the course of the year. I really think that's what's happening.
Which makes more sense in the long run.
Yeah.
So,
and it's like, it's a thing as well where you have to balance it. Like, yes, there are people who will like want this for launch day, but there are also parents and stuff who are looking towards Christmas, right?
Yeah.
And they're not as in tune with all this pre-order bullshit and following Wario64 on Twitter. So like, if it comes to like November and they're like, there's no Xboxes left for my son, you know, people are going to be mad. And so I think they're getting ahead of that. I think they're anticipating that, and they're going to say, hey, there's stock for you, for the moms out there who are buying the kids the new console. Here you go. And so I think they're thinking long term with this pre-order stuff.
And that is a better business move, because us in the system, not in the system, but in the know that is gaming, and us and everyone that we know that they've already bought stuff, but it is more, this idea is closer to being for parents and whatnot. Like exactly how you said, just mom and dad walking in not Christmas, but like right after Thanksgiving, just to pick it up so they can make sure it's ready for the kids on Christmas Day. I think you're 100% right on that one.
The other thing, and Rose brought this up in chat, I forgot to put it in the doc, but yeah, Xbox One X and Xbox One S sales are way up.
Yes.
People are speculating that's because of the similar names of the One X and the Series X. I think that's definitely part of it. I think also just like, again, gaming hardware is just selling like hotcakes right now in the pandemic. And also like, this is like a rolling thing with tech. Like when new stuff gets announced and new stuff goes on sale, people buy the old stuff because it's cheaper now.
Yeah. I mean, and jumping into a console at the very tail end, you have a plethora of games that define the generation of said console. So it would make a lot of sense to be one of those people like, you know what? Now's the time to jump in on Xbox, jump on Game Pass, and play the great games they have. Same with PlayStation 4 and all the great first-party games. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense both ways.
And I feel like even more so this gen, there's this commitment to like forward compatibility where PS5 games are going to be on PS4, Xbox first-party games are going to be on Xbox One. You know, like people like Cyberpunk's not going to have any difference for at least a few months to a year, right? Yeah. So like, play Cyberpunk, buy an Xbox One, you'll get the same experience.
Yeah, the same experience. All the bugs will be taken out by bugs for like this actual consoles themselves, because they'll have an idea. Because let's be honest, we both know, 2 years down the road, we're going to get the half-step generations. Yeah, it's almost inevitable. So if you can probably wait, because especially with what Sony said last week, what we were talking about, they're committed for the next 3 or 4 years to support PlayStation 4. Buy a PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
It's a good system. Really good system.
Great. Yeah, beautiful, fun. It's great.
I think as well, like, because we've seen the story with the Xbox and PlayStation, where we've also seen it with the new Nvidia card, same exact thing, pre-orders, and it's chaos. People can't get them, they're scalpers. I think this is like a unique problem that the gaming sphere has, where it's so big and so many people are interested and willing to fork over the money for long-term investments like this. And also, like, movies and music don't have this problem with distribution. No. Like, no one's gonna freak out because their pre-order of the Tenet Blu-ray didn't come through. You know, I mean, it's just like, I'll watch it later, whatever.
I'm gonna pick it up on streaming.
Yeah.
I mean, and like when we all used to go to movies, when we went to, like all the like
in the old world,
in the old world before everything went to shit. Like in game when that came out, okay, I didn't get the 7 o'clock showing. It's all sold out. Hey, look at that. There's a 7:10 showing.
Yeah.
There's a 7:15. So movies and all that stuff is easier to get to. But yeah, gaming you're right. This is one of the strangest things to have. It's a problem that it's like only sports technically has the same thing. Like, oh, I'm sorry, all the tickets are sold out at the field. You can't come watch this game.
Yeah.
That's kind of relatable to, wow, we can really relate sports to video games, guys. This is great.
And so, yeah, I don't know if this problem will be better by next gen. I don't know. It's hard to say. But yeah. This I feel like we're going to see the story again with the PS5 Pro and the Xbox Series V.
Yes. PlayStation and the Switch Pro. Please,
Right.
God, let that be a thing.
The Switch Pro is more like of a conceptual system, right? So like you'll have it, and then a year later it'll be gone. Like it just disintegrates in your hand because they don't want you to have it anymore.
The old Mario way.
Yeah. So like yeah, don't like rush your pre-orders for that because that'll be gone. But yeah, if you don't care about physical media and you want to upgrade your gaming experience to the cloud, Amazon's got you covered because they're in the Stadia space. They've announced their new cloud gaming thing with Amazon Luna, which is a weird name, but it's whatever.
Better than Stadia, though. Let's be honest.
I think it's better than Stadia for what, and I'll just go over like the bullet points here. Introductory price $5.99 a month. Offers 4K 60 FPS for selected titles if you can get that on your internet. Release date is TBA, but people in the US can sign up for this early access. And yeah, while it's early access, it's $5.99 a month. I think it will go up after that, but yeah, we'll see what that checks out to be. It's coming to PC, Mac, and iOS and Android later down the line. Over 100 games available right now. RE7 Control, Panzer Dragoon, which is a very weird one, especially if you're trying to enter a US market. I don't know how many people are signing up for Panzer Dragoon, but there you go. A Plague Tale Innocence, Ukulele Grid, Absu, Brothers of Tale 2 Sons, and more to be added over time. You mentioned this being better than Stadia. I think that is true for one specific reason, and it's that you pay the subscription and you get this like slew of 100 games with that.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay an additional random cost, like retail price for these things. I think that immediately gives it an edge.
I mean, right there, we're now looking at it going after Game Pass. I mean, if I'm only paying $5.99 a month, obviously introductory. If it's around $15 a month, pretty good comparative to Game Pass is Ultimate, like for the PC, is also $15 a month. So that's a nice little. Maybe I'll look into this.
It's definitely going after Xbox and xCloud. They definitely have. Obviously, we've been talking about Microsoft a lot this show. They have the years of experience. They have the backlog of games. They have the money to throw at things, and they have the service already established with 15 million people on it, and you know the ability to download games and all that good stuff while they wait for the streaming infrastructure to be there. So I think it's more appropriate to compare this to Stadia at the minute, which is probably not a comparison Amazon wanted to be made. Because Stadia's, we have that bet going. Will Stadia last through 2021? We could do another bet now. Will Luna last through 2021? Do we want to do
I think Luna lasts through 2021 before Stadia does. Because I mean, let's be honest. Google has a name. Google has that name, but I'll put money on that Amazon's weight is heavier, or Amazon's name is heavier, and they know how to do things and hold on to things and kind of let it mature, unlike Google, who's like, it's not working. In the trash you go.
Amazon, heavier name than Google. Chat, let me know who your favorite corporate megaton is. I'm written for Time Warner and AT&T. Let's go. Disney, that could be people's favorite. Not in the good books right now, but let's have them fight each other. No, I think, and there's like more to cover in terms of like what this service actually is, but I think talking about these big corporate entities, right?
Yeah.
They realize that gaming is the biggest revenue generating entertainment sector there is. And they have to get involved in some way, and they're all seeing this push towards the cloud, and they're like, we want to get in on that now, before it becomes huge, before the infrastructure's there, so that we're there at the starting line when the gun is fired. So I think, it's hard to imagine that this is going to make big waves, but I think this is Amazon's introduction into gaming in a lot of ways, and trying to like break into that space. They have been trying a few times before I'm going to just bring this up here. Amazon has a curious, this is from the Verge article I'm quoting. Amazon has a curious relationship with gaming over the years, dabbling in various different businesses. In addition to owning the streaming service Twitch, which is another big factor, Amazon also develops its own games, including the online shooter Crucible, which had such a poor launch it quickly went back into closed beta. The company is also working on a massively multiplayer game called New World, which was originally slated to debut this summer, before being delayed to 2021. So they're clearly like not there yet. They're dipping their toe in the water, but they don't know what the vibe is yet. They don't have the decade of experience that Microsoft has. Yeah. But yeah, I do think there's like Sony and Microsoft were these corporate entities that didn't know gaming before, and they had to dip their toe in, and it was consoles at that time, right? But I think it speaks volumes that everyone is like, if this was 5 years ago, we'd be saying, what's Google's console going to be? What's Apple's console going to be? We were like having those discussions, and now it's like, it's not worth it to make a console. They just like lose money or break even. Let's make a streaming service. Let's get those subscription things piling up. And so it's like a very clear indication of where the industry is heading. I don't think it's a very clear indication of where the industry is at right now. I think these things are destined to fail in the short term if they're not willing to pump money into it for like the years coming until like the infrastructure's there.
Yeah, and you're right, because I mean, what we're doing right now is actually these conversations that you and I and everyone's having about these streaming services when it comes to games is exactly what we were talking about 5-7 years ago when it was Amazon. And does anyone remember when Blockbuster tried to actually jump into the streaming service war? I do. I fully remember that. And like Redbox has tried a couple times. So you're right. Like the entertainment with music has gone digital, minus this last month where vinyl records actually did more revenue than actual anything else in the music realm.
Good to know.
Everyone, like, are you going to watch it on Netflix? Watch it on your Amazon Prime. Do you have Hulu? Those are all terms and things we know what we're talking about now. Mm-hmm. Amazon doing this sees the writing on the wall. Everyone does. Xbox does. We know that this is going to happen. When? We don't know. Someone has to fail. The sacrificial lamb right now is Google, because Stadia sucks. I'll say it. Amazon is learning from Stadia, watching what Xbox does, and probably has a better infrastructure than Google. I don't know about Microsoft Azure and all their stuff. Mm-hmm. They're probably right on par with Amazon Web Services, but they're learning, and I see them wanting to put the money into it because it's a service that they already do video wise, music wise. Why not get into the game concept wise? The problem, especially here for us, and I don't know about you, Finn, our infrastructure sucks when it comes to internet. Terrible. And someone has to get on board of, we need to rebuild that. Mm-hmm. We need fiber to make it legitimate, giving it a fighting chance, because right now that box that we have to spend $500 for, it does the job with really shitty internet. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I've got cousins in Oklahoma. He has Game Pass. He downloaded Fallout 4. It took him 4 days.
Yeah.
So we don't just need these companies throwing money into it. We need the companies throwing money into the infrastructure of our networks, of internet in general, internet access in general.
Right. It is trying to push even like internet companies to like, these services need to exist to create the demand so that these internet service providers can say, hey, we'll give you like this upgraded package specifically for games. If you're on xCloud, if you're on Stadia, get this package. Which is going to be like hugely expensive for them, but they could charge a premium for, and gamers will pay it if like the service is good, which is a lot to ask of internet service providers, I know. But yeah,
but
I've tried Stadia because it's free right now. Garbage, to be honest.
Okay. I did the beta and it was awful.
I tried xCloud, a little bit better, but still a little bit dodgy, and like, that was just like when no one in the house was using the internet. Mm-hmm. Like in a realistic environment, that's just not going to work because like way I game. You know how much I love bets, John. I'm not going to introduce.
Come on, baby.
I'm not going to introduce a new bet, but in summer of last summer, Somewhere
Okay.
2019, before the world was nuts. I was on a trip in Europe, and like me and my nerdy friends are known for, one of the things we were talking about when sitting in the bar is the future of the gaming business.
Normal
So, like,
conversation between friends. Yes, I get it.
me and my friend made a bet at that time. In 10 years' time, I bet that gaming subscription, whether it's download or streaming, is going to make up over 30% of the market share of the revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that would hold true, or how do you feel about that bet?
I don't think you're far off.
Yeah.
I actually, I really don't. I might, and again, this all depends on architecture and like the systems that need to be built up. And I like the idea of pushing the internet companies to go, hey, there's money on the table if you do this. I will see that it might be closer to like 35 or 40 in 10 years. Yeah. I think there's something there, like, as much as I like physical media, I hated the idea of going away from CDs. I have a Spotify account now. As much as I loved my 500 Blu-rays, I got rid of them all and I stream everything.
Yeah.
We've talked about it, how I digitally went on the Switch. It's going to be there. So if you take the concept of taking away a console that we've just spent $500 on, and you can give me everything for $15 a month, the weight of that, the perception, the look of that makes so much more sense to me that if done right, xCloud and Luna might be where we're heading. And again, with Microsoft and Amazon, yeah, we might be in pretty good hands. I think you're right. 30% seems right. I would even say maybe even higher, but I think 10 years from now, yeah, I'd say about 2029, 2030, we're going to be talking about maybe systems are about 7 years. So we will be maybe a year or two in the PlayStation 6, about 3 years. So we'll probably get we'll probably have a half-step generation, but we'll be talking about Luna as well. Cause I mean, again, it has to be done right. And we have to understand, us as gamers have to understand that there's going to be lag. The word that we all hate is going to be lag until we can prove that we need a better internet infrastructure to justify the concept of Luna.
And that's the thing as well. Chat brings up pop culture as well. Like, it's not just internet speeds, and that's like all I think about, because we don't have data caps here, whereas a lot of you still do, and I find that bizarre. Really bizarre.
Like, we have no data cap here, but yeah, you bring up a valid point. It's some people, there's a some people have a terabyte. I know at our old place we had a terabyte cap. We were streaming everything how we are right now. We never got close to it, but I mean, what is it like to actually stream a full game and that's all you're doing? How much will you eat out of it? That is a great point, and that's another thing ISPs are going to have to either understand and charge a premium for, while still rebuilding the back end of what internet needs to be to support stuff like this.
So yeah, some specifics of Amazon Luna as it stands in the streaming space. There's a lot of similarities to Stadia, as I pointed out before. They have this controller that's $50 during the early access period. Looks a lot like the Switch Pro controller and the Google Stadia controller had a baby. It's Alexa enabled instead of Google Voice Assistant enabled. And yeah, they have Twitch integration with this thing, which is sort of the same thing Stadia are doing with YouTube, where the idea is that you're watching a stream, you can like play with the streamer, or you can like immediately go and start playing that game you see instantly right from the Twitch page. So yeah, trying to leverage those two behemoths together.
Are you more okay with that one? Like, remember when Stadia said that you can do that for YouTube streaming, and we're all like, people stream on YouTube? This one makes a little more sense with Twitch. You're like, okay, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, but Twitch also had the thing as well where they tried to do this similar thing where, like, if you were watching a stream for not Fortnite, because that's free, but it's a bad example, but if you're watching a stream for what's the game?
Valorant.
Yeah, you can like buy the game. There's like a lot of things to buy the game through Twitch. It's like, okay, that didn't work out. I don't hear much about that anymore, so I wonder if this will stick. One thing I think is very interesting and does position Amazon Luna in a unique position compared to Stadia even, the company has partnered with Ubisoft for a specific gaming channel. And what this is, the idea behind it, John, is you can pay extra for this Ubisoft channel, and you're able to stream all the Ubisoft games through Amazon Luna. So, like, obviously Ubisoft have their own subscription service, but that's download only. I think what you might see, you're having a lot of these companies make their own subscription services, I think.
Yeah.
But they don't have the infrastructure like Microsoft, like Google, like Amazon to power their own cloud thing.
Mm-hmm.
I know Bethesda were working on theirs before they got bought out by Microsoft, so yeah, that could be another reason why that deal happened. But yeah, it allows them to take advantage of the cloud stuff that AWS have already have there without having to build their own, and still like gets people like, so you could see in a few years time, you could see, right, they have the Ubisoft channel now. Well, if they have the EA channel or the Activision channel, or like, and you can just like pick and choose which publishers you like and like have that add up to your bill.
I am not gonna lie, I actually really freaking love that. I think that's genius. I streaming movies off of Amazon Prime. I mean, you can sign up for Showtime, Slasher, HBO. That makes a lot of sense because it's a formula that works for Amazon and works for people. If you have a centralized hub and you can go do what you want on it, that makes a lot of sense. If it's done right, I would have no problem, and I might actually jump in on the pre-order of Luna. I would have no problem tacking on an extra like $10 a month for Ubisoft or insert favorite publisher here.
Yeah.
To have access to all their games. That's, again, if done right and messaged correctly, that's actually a pretty good game changer in my opinion.
Yeah. PlayStation Now, like, technically you can play. I like how you laughed at the sheer mention of PlayStation Now. But like, when you think about it, technically you can play your PlayStation exclusives on PC only if you stream it. Could you imagine a world where on Amazon Luna you scroll down and there's like a Nintendo channel, right? Because like Nintendo, at least in the next 20 to 30 years, are not going to make their own streaming service just because they're that behind the times. What if they were like, hey, give it to Amazon? You know what I mean?
That, and I think why, and I'll bounce this back off to Game Pass, and why we're going to that one is you have to sign up for it, and then you forget that you're paying the money. And there's something weirdly powerful with that when it comes to, and let me put on a business hat. There's something weirdly powerful when I have 15 million people paying up to $15 a month and they don't even remember that they're doing it. They just have awesome games they're playing, or with Luna at $5.99, and then when it bumps up, most likely to $15 a month, there's something really like you're gaining more people subscribing to it, and then the idea of how much money you're probably making off of that. I want Nintendo to do something like that. Like, I know they're dabbling in it with Nintendo Online, but it's very interesting to see how people are now, or how businesses and companies are framing the idea of streaming services.
So, and it all ties around back to game. This is not a bet. I'm just
okay. I was like, I'm looking over at my screen. I see you, and you're like singing back, like, it's time.
It did sound like I was winding up to a bet. So, no, all I was going to say is like, in terms of gaming subscriptions versus consoles, right, which is a thing we've touched on a few times now. It's pro-consumer, yes, but when you also think about it, 15 million times $10 a month times 12 months a year, that's 1.8 billion in revenue generated by that. Microsoft are going to make even more than that as people carry on. So, like, you think about paying $500 a month, which for a lot of people is an 8-year investment, as opposed to paying $120 every year for 8 years, right? That already is like more money for Xbox. And like, yes, you have to invest in the content, but with consoles, you have to like keep supporting them, and you have to put all this money into R&D. So like, really, is there that much difference? Is it more cost effective to build a subscription service and buy companies for $7.5 billion? Who knows?
Time will tell.
Yeah. Xbox is clearly betting on that. Yeah, we'll see. I'm not dying to sign up for Luna, even though I can't yet because it's US only. But like,
yeah, it's great. I'll give it a try. Why not?
It's a statement of the future. Yeah, and you'll try it. Yeah, you'll report back to us. You'll be our reporter on the field.
Hi, John Isaacs, Luna reporter for you here.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's a few more stories. I'll just give a quick mention. In that happened in the week past. One of the first ones being just like a nugget of good vibes. Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 2, Contra, and Castlevania collections all released on PC via GOG with enhanced visuals and such, and DRM free because it's GOG. Good. Do more of that, please. Yeah. I was finding myself in like a weird Metal Gear mood recently, and so like I'm thinking I might sit down and go through 1 and 2.
Konami, you need to do some stuff to kind of get back in the good graces. This is a great start. I mean, the Castlevania collection. Keep on doing this.
What if Luna had a Konami channel? That was one of the weird things that came out of this week as well. Like people saying like Sony should buy someone in response to Xbox buying Bethesda. They should buy Konami. While it's an interesting discussion to have, obviously that's not how things work.
Yeah. And wait, and to piggyback off that one, wasn't it then Xbox fans went back and were like, then Xbox needs to buy Sega.
Yeah, Xbox buying Sega is the next big thing.
How did we get here?
There's like this weird, like obviously it's a dumb conspiracy theory, but there was one tweet I saw where like it was all these random images and like there was one from like a Sega Twitter account and someone's like throwing up the X like that and like just dumb stuff like that, and you start to wonder, if they blindside us here, I swear to God. Yeah, that'd be a weird pickup for them, but it would be a lot of Japanese studios, which I know Phil Spencer wants.
It's like, and what do they need? What does Xbox need right now?
No, I won't hear it. I won't hear it until we confirm it next week on the show, because it will definitely happen when we're off air.
It's going to
happen. But yeah, Konami have a lot of good backlog of games, so they could show up on Games Pass or PlayStation Now, wherever they want. But it seems right now it's GOG that's leading the charge in terms of getting Metal Gear back, so we'll see. But yeah, just good news. Good little nugget. Now we're at the rant period again, sadly. Spider-Man PS5 remaster is confirmed not to be like a free upgrade. Right, here, I'll read you the statement. And I'll see if you can make head or tail of this as I read it.
I'm full focused right now.
This is the official Sony statement. Marvel Spider-Man Remastered is an enhanced version of Marvel Spider-Man and is included as part of Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition for the PlayStation 5. In addition, players who purchase Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales on the PlayStation 4 can upgrade at no additional cost to the PS5 version of Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales and can take advantage of a paid upgrade to download Marvel Spider-Man Remastered. There are no plans currently to offer Marvel Spider-Man Remastered as a standalone. Players with a copy of Marvel Spider-Man for PS4 can purchase Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales Ultimate Edition to experience Marvel Spider-Man Remastered on PS5. Marvel Spider-Man for PS4 also will be backwards compatible with the PS5.
Okay, so here is what I heard about that.
I think you heard Marvel Spider-Man about 25 times.
I believe I am now in Marvel Spider-Man's multiverse, and I got it. I understand what they're saying. I just think it's a load of crap, but okay.
So to try and break that down, it's like a weird case-by-case basis, right?
Yes.
What they want you to do, Miles Morales is $50 on the PlayStation 5 and the PS4, yes. I think.
Ultimate is 70.
Ultimate is 70, with which, if you're on the PS5, you get Spider-Man Remastered.
Yes.
If you buy the PS4 version of Miles Morales, you can upgrade to the PS5 version and then pay an extra $20 to get the Spider-Man remastered version.
Yes.
If you have Spider-Man PS4 already, you get nothing.
Yeah, you can play it on your PS5,
you can play it on your
but
PS5,
it's not the enhanced version.
but there's no enhanced visuals. And if you just want it to play Spider-Man remastered and not Miles Morales, you can't do that.
You can't do that. Yeah,
that's like that's the Matrix of like.
Yeah. It is clear as mud on that one. Yeah. I love it.
Why? Why do they do this? Why do they?
And it's this one right here that really made me go, oh, PlayStation, you want to play the game? You got to buy the system.
Yeah.
Xbox, go play your damn game. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
Jump on Game Pass, go nuts. And it was that right there when they released that. I'm like, and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say it. They're pay gating is exactly what Sony's doing right now, which is not uncommon for Sony, to be absolutely honest with you.
It is. It's funny to see like each generation the pro consumer stance seems to flip between Xbox and PlayStation. No. Right, PlayStation right now are sounding like a lot like Don Matrick and Xbox at the start of the generation.
Yes,
like
I've been noticing that too.
Completely bollocks to consumers, and we have a system that doesn't need you to connect to the internet. It's called the Xbox 360. Like a lot of that language is now on the PlayStation side of things, and I think part of it is to do with Andrew House and Jack Tronton and all these like big wigs that were there for the PS3 days into the PS4 now have left, and maybe that's a lot to do with it. But yeah, I think it's just they're just laying their big sack down on the table and going like, I dare you to buy an Xbox.
That's pretty much what they're doing. Pop culture in the chat, I agree with you. Translation, buy Miles Morales Ultimate Edition. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna do. I'm just like, I'm not even gonna play the game. Fine, and that's probably what they want. What Sony wants you to do. Just buy the Ultimate Edition if you have a PlayStation 5. I know that's what they want. I'm gonna give into it because if I want, why would I buy a PlayStation 5? Put Spider-Man in there and not want the enhanced graphics. I'm gonna be paying $20 no matter what, whether it's Ultimate Edition or not. So I mean, for me, the biggest thing that I got to figure out is how big is that download for the enhanced graphics? Is it smaller if I put my PS4 version of Spider-Man in there? Because I'm going to be directly downloading it from PSN if I buy the Ultimate Edition. So that's where I'm at now. Like, how much memory, how much storage is going to be taken away from my PlayStation 5, depending on which way I go?
John, it sounded like, and again, this goes back to smart delivery just being way over my head.
Yes.
It sounds like Spider-Man PS4, when you put the disc in, and Spider-Man Remastered on PS5 are two different executables. And so like they could sit side by side in the screen. So I don't think they have anything to do with each other. So I think you could like have two downloads, right? Because as far as I know, digital works backwards compatibility as well. So you could have Spider-Man and Spider-Man Remastered for PS5 as two different downloads on your system at the same time.
No, I think you're right too. Because didn't they say that? I think Insomniac came out and said, "Yeah, your saves don't come over."
Yeah, saves don't work. They don't transfer over.
Then F it. Look, I'm just buying Ultimate Edition and playing it again. I mean, if my and that's the concept of forward compatibility that Xbox has done mostly right. My saves come forward.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm still, and again, it will be all unclear until we get it in our hands. It's hard to say how this will work with other PS5 games, if they'll get this treatment. How Xbox are doing it exactly, but they seem to be more on the line of like, we'll give you the best possible version of your game no matter what system you put it in or what disc you're putting in. But yeah, Xbox are definitely getting out in front of that one, and I think Sony, they don't have to respond. They don't have to do anything. They can keep doing this for a long time before people get so mad that they'll not buy a PlayStation anymore. But, you know, it sucks. It's just weird and nonsensical. That's all the stories we have for this week, John.
Okay.
Yeah, weird week. A lot of ranting.
Yeah. A lot of ranting. I'm impressed we didn't have any bets this week.
Yeah, no bets. We have a lot of bets on the line currently. Okay. I don't know. Do you want to throw a random bet in there?
You know, I don't think it's a Playhouse Live without us having at least one bet.
Okay.
And then we need one. Let's do it. What's your bet? I know you have one. I know you have one.
It just goes back to, will Xbox buy Sega? That's all I can think. That's like the most interesting thing in my brain right now.
Okay, no, that's fine.
And we'll like, because this could go on forever indefinitely. Like if like Xbox just continues to not buy Sega, this bet will never get resolved. So we'll put a time limit on it. We'll say in the next year.
In the next year?
Yeah.
Crap, if you didn't put the time limit on there, I was going to say yes, because it makes sense. Like, because it actually makes sense to, like, Xbox needs something to tap into the Japanese market. There's, minus Nintendo and Sony, there's nothing better than Sega. You've got Yakuza, you've got everything that Sega has. Within the next year, though, I'm going to say no then. Like, if you said 2, I would have said yes, actually. But in the next year, I want to see how deep Microsoft's pockets are, if I'm going to be honest, because that would be really crazy. Just Monday. Well, crap, it actually happened. What? Okay, but in the next year, no. I'm gonna go with a no.
All right, I'll throw a yes on that bet.
Okay, I'm good with this.
We need to start a lot of these bets, like our long-term bets, and won't be resolved. I'm gonna try and do some like shorter-term bets that we can get instant return on, basically. For like terms of like what happens if you win the bet, lose the bet, I think there's like something to be said for the loser of the bet has to read the full PR statement of Xbox buying Bethesda or buying Sega, depending on what happens, in Sonic the Hedgehog's voice.
Okay. God, I want to win this bet because I want to hear your Sonic voice.
Those are the terms of the bet. No.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, that's it for this week's Playhouse Live. We'll be back next Saturday with another one of these. I'm not going to say whether I think this week of news is going to be exciting or not. So yeah, we'll just see what happens there. Keep it locked to Playhouse Live's various presences on the internet. Most exciting thing coming out in the next few days. I will hopefully have my video and article up for the Crash 4 demo impressions up tomorrow. Nice. I have it all written. It's all done. I just need to record the audio. I actually recorded the audio before this, but got corrupted. Okay. Lovely. Love to see it.
I'm looking forward to that, though, to be honest with you. See what you have to say tomorrow.
About it. And then I don't know if I'm going to do thoughts after the full game comes out. We'll see how that goes. Okay. I don't want to spoil Tim and Keith's thing, but they may have something coming in the works. A little video there. And then, yeah, just generally keep it locked to entertheplayhouse.com for all our written stuff, at enterplayhouse for our social media stuff. I'm at HyFinated on Twitter. John is
John Box 3414.
Yeah. And yeah, you can keep updated with all that. And again, yeah, we'll be back next Saturday with another episode of these. Oh, another thing. New episode of Playdate is being recorded sometime this week, so expect that probably the week after. I'll probably have a date for that next Saturday when we're doing this. So yeah, keep eyes peeled for that. So yeah, we'll see you next Saturday with all the news. See you then.
Bye.